be realistic. Nobody's going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life. Welcome to Life's a Trip and I Forgot the Map, the podcast that embraces the messy, magical ride of figuring life out. I'm Misty, your host, your fellow wanderer, and here we trade perfection for permission to grow, stumble, laugh, and start over. So grab your emotional snacks, be sure to buckle up. We're in for a ride. Let's hit the road. Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Life's a Trip and I Forgot the Map. You already know this is the space where we embrace detours, meltdowns, and magical, messy middle. Today, I have someone really special joining me. She's someone who walks the path of healing, self-discovery, and spiritual growth with such grounded grace. Her name is Edith B. Kiss, and she is not just a coach or a meditation guide. She's someone who truly embodies what it means to reconnect with your soul. Okay, this isn't just a business chat. It's a human conversation about healing, about coming home to yourself, about what it means to live in alignment when life doesn't give you a map. Thank you so much for being here, Edith. Would you describe the journey you've been on, not just what you do, but who you've become through it?
Yes, if I look at my life right now, I think the biggest blessing or the most fulfillment part is just knowing that I am my own boss. That's one thing. Like I control my life, right?
I love
Because
that.
the most stress is coming from fulfilling other people's expectations, working towards schedules, working towards certain deadlines. That was the biggest pressure before when I worked in corporate. So now when I'm looking at my life is scheduling myself. That's really a great feeling. And also having enough time for my children. That was what I was most fighting for, because that was my biggest suffer or guilt, going to work all day and not having time with them. And I was able to achieve that. And this is like my biggest piece. And the other thing is obviously people saying that spirituality or awakening is basically remembering who you truly are. And to reach that phase when I am comfortable with my multidimensional existence, that's also a great feeling, like knowing that I can reach out to the spirit guides, I can go back to my past life or, see my future. So being able to move around and understand that this reality is an illusion, it's also giving me a fulfillment feeling and just pleasure and happiness. Yeah. That's my end point, I would say.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. So would you say that along your journey or your path, you've either had things crack open or quietly change direction?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a person who always allow my intuition to give me the direction. So I kind of like having ideas, having goals, but then I allow it to unfold how it is, like for example, when I had certain goals or ideas, I wanted to travel a lot. And then how to get to certain places or how to travel, I always picked some places or I always picked some new jobs. So I always allowed to take these adventures, take these challenges, and then I always felt like I was growing through it, I learned something new. So now after like 20 something years of being in this adventurous journey, if I get into a room and start a conversation, is like I can connect with nearly everybody because I've done so many things. I went through so many industries and so many journeys and learnings and countries I traveled around. So I can find a connection point with nearly everyone because of that experience I had. And I feel like I was always able to renew myself. Or I was always able to, if I felt like it was a mistake, or for example, not every job I took actually got till the end of the contract, So sometimes I left because after a week I realized it was not good, right? So I gave up on the situation because it was uncomfortable or dangerous or whatever. So basically I left the situation, but every time I felt like it gave something to me, some knowledge, some experience, some learning, but I was always, and then I never felt like a failure. I felt like, okay, no, I'm doing something new, I'm doing something else. So I just let it go. And then I went into my next journey myself. Yeah.
you've become more of a well-rounded person. I mean, obviously, we always have more room to grow, right? And more things to learn, which is part of the whole point of being here. But being able to do that and being able to connect with other people, even just your presence and like your smile or whatever else can help somebody else with their day. So was spirituality always part of your life, or did you find it in the mess?
It's so funny because, sometimes as I meet with spiritual people and they say like, I already since childhood, I can't remember like being a psychic, which I can remember as a child, which was outstanding is my dreams. I was dreaming every night, adventure dreams. Like, it was like a movie every
Nice.
night. And then I still do it every night. So it's like I never stopped. My spirituality started since a child. And then the other thing was always following my intuition. So I was very fearless in my decisions or in my goals. So I was always having big dreams and I always had visions like, oh, I want to do that and this is how it's going to turn out. And people called me like a dreamer or whatever, but I always followed through and get to my goals. And I think that's also part of spirituality. When your third eye is very open, that's when you don't have worries and fears and then you have visions. So
Yeah.
that have been also since a long time and I just didn't know. So the conscious spiritual practices, when I started that, it was with my panic attacks. So I had panic attacks and then I didn't know even what was happening to me and how to actually deal with it. And then the best friend of my mom, she was doing Reiki healing and then she sent me to her Reiki master. So that's how I get to introduced. And it was really interesting because my mom was saying that, oh, she never felt called to do it because she never felt energy, when she was like doing this with her hand or she never felt anything. But as soon as I started to learn it, it was really natural, or it was really easy for me to connect with the energies and then just learn about extra sense, and the practices was really easy for me.
Wow. I would love to be in your head for like 24 hours and experience all that stuff that you go through and you visualize and you dream, and that's just, I think it's amazing. I think that being able to be connected to not only yourself but a higher spiritual plane or being or experience is beautiful, and I'm so excited for you to be able to do that. And I kind of am a little intuitive, not like a lot, but I can tell you when I know something is really going to happen. I just know it. So it's just kind of happens. But what does being spiritually connected actually feel like in your everyday life?
The trust, like I think that's what is missing from many people, the trust, like trusting the divine and then trusting others and trusting themselves. All trees needs to be connected to truly embody and experience the connection with the consciousness, and with everything, and living that spiritual life is trusting that yes, the other energies are working for you, trusting that you are also able to control energies and you are able to protect yourself or heal yourself or get into these dynamics, and then also trusting others that not everybody wants to harm you, or not everybody
Yeah.
is a negative energy, but there is other people who's also vibing with your frequency, and you actually need to connect with those to feel good. So
Yeah.
you don't need to, because most of the people who got betrayed, or feeling bad or get triggered, they isolate themselves because they say, okay, we taught to set boundaries, and then I set boundaries with everybody because I'm getting triggered now. So
Yeah.
then they go like under the rock, right? So that's what is not healthy, because you need socializing, you need connections, you need to feel good with other people as well. So that's why I recommend to start trusting with people and also with the divine and with yourself.
So would you think that when we need to trust other people, do you think it's something that we should just really go with our gut on? Like we really know this is a good person, I can go ahead and trust this person, or do you think that each person has that gut feeling or guide that would help them trust? Because I do agree that we need to trust people and we need to be able to trust other people. We know that there's not everybody can be trusted. So do you feel like we can guide ourselves in knowing that with our intuition or gut feeling?
So I think when you start to interact with someone, there is a reason why they come into your life. So when you meet with someone, there is several reasons. One reason is probably they vibing with your frequency and they bringing good things into your life. So they can be maybe a soulmate, a good friend, a support, or they can come to test you like karma, or learnings. So, but then you always need to make your, as you said, from the good feelings, you need to make your decision that is this person actually someone who I want to continue doing things, or you can recognize, that's when is the red flags comes in, right?
Yeah.
So I used to be the person who said, I'm looking at only the good side of everybody. So I'm like, this is so nice. I give them a chance, or it's okay if they are a bit disturbed or they have some problems because I'm strong, I'm spiritual, I'm strong, I can deal with them, or whatever.
Yeah.
Can help them. So that's kind of attitude. But then I realized that, yes, it helped me also to deal with some my healings, it helped me to go through my growth as I was going through the dynamic. But then I realized that it also created more challenges, which maybe were unnecessary, so, or took away some times from other priorities. So basically now I am the other kind of person, like, okay, I accept everybody to come into my space who has to, but no, I'm more strict about the red flags. Like, no, I'm not looking at the green flags. I'm looking at the red flags. And I say one red flag is like, okay, I'm not getting into this karmic pattern again. I'm done. So I stop it before I'm entering the karmic pattern, and you can do that too. I mean, we're supposed to stop the karmic patterns before entering, because that's how you stop the whole cycle, to having that awareness that no, I'm not giving a chance for these people to actually ruin my life or ruin whatever they could, So, and that is how you stop karmic patterns, with your decisions, to decide on you actually desire better things, in life, or you are worthy, and then you put your worthiness on the label where you want to put, and then you make that decision, basically.
Yeah. And I think that's really good advice, that we should really make those decisions and be aware of that karmic cycle, so we can learn the lesson from the cycle we're in, so we don't repeat that. So how do you guide yourself on the hard days, the ones where you feel disconnected?
It's interesting because how I look at now the phases of life, or phases of like a year or weeks or months, is like you have the striving and the growth, like the striving is when you are powerful, you're empowered, you energize, and then you just roll, you do your things, and then you are in your routine or whatever, and then you have the growth is when you feel like, I feel like I just need to rest today, or I have a cold, I have a flu. Then what is happening, that how I used to be when it happened, it was, I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. I was fighting against my cold and my flu. And then I was still wanted to do what I supposed to do, because I believe that's what's supposed to happen. And then I forced myself and then got more sick, or, whatever. So, and then it didn't even help me, right? In the long run. So what is happening? Why you need to actually at those times allow yourself to stop and rest and relax, because that's the time when you actually allow the universe to take control, the universe to do something for you, which you were fighting so long and working so hard in your striving. Universe is telling you, now you need to adjust, you need to reflect, you need to analyze, because maybe what worked until now, maybe you should change now things to make it better, And then because we are so caught up on the doing, we forget to stop, to reflect and analyze and adjust, and then it's just not the same result. So when I have these down times, I actually enjoy it. Sometimes I'm like, I should actually do some healings on myself, which is gonna bring myself back faster. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do the healings today. I might just have some tea, but I'm gonna rest, and then because now I can actually read my book. I'm gonna read this book. I'm gonna do 5 meditations today instead of 1, So actually I enjoy those down times, and because I use it for more meditations, I use it for more reading. It's like a catch up, with my with myself and with the divine, because in other days I just meditate maybe once or twice a day, and this reminds me to actually do it more often, and also do the reflection and analyze, and then just sit with the universe more, and
Yeah.
not with the reality, and then allowing it to unfold, because we are co-creators. So we need to give space to the universe to come in and do stuff. And then usually when the universe can come in and do stuff for you is when you stop doing things, when you just being in receiving mode, basically. Yeah. And that's important.
Yeah, it is. And I think I really like what you're getting at, is being really aware of not only what your physical needs are, but your spiritual and your just overall energy. Being aware of what those needs are, and really taking care of that, because it not only takes care of you spiritually, but physically as well. It's a whole symbiotic package that we have to take care of, and being really aware of that's like very important. You and I have worked a little bit. You have graciously allowed me to get your program and completely changed my life. And I just want to touch on this a little bit because it's so impactful and so, I'm going to cry. It's so amazing. And the things that have changed may seem subtle. Like I didn't feel the change all at once, but it's gradually unfolding. Every day I'm waking up like, oh my gosh, this is huge. This is like really big. And when I was going through the program, that one part I told you about where I felt like I had this, like somebody threw a bucket of cold water on me, that sticks to me to this day. I still get chills because it's like, that was huge. And I just want to let people know that I'm going to put your link and your information in the description below. Be sure to check out her program. It's fantastic. It's absolutely a must-have. Edit is absolutely an amazing person, and one person I trust wholeheartedly, 100%. And I have not gone through all the video library. I do plan on finishing that, but I also want to go back through the lessons, I think, and do them all over again, because I think that what I learned from that and what I got from that was so impactful and so amazing that it deserves another watch and the work being done. So I really thank you for that, Edit, because without you, this podcast would not exist. Without you, the changes and things that are going on and happening in my life right now would not be happening. And I would have stuck in that same rut, in that same karmic pattern that I was going through. And thanks to you and your program, I was able to break through that. So do you believe that we ever fully arrive at who we're meant to be, or is it just an unfolding and becoming?
It's so interesting. Like when I was looking into my future, like, oh, what I want to be or who I want to become, or I already overcome that. So it's like you have a certain expectations of your future. You have a certain idea, but what you can actually create is out of that idea or out of that expectation, how it can enter your life. And you are just like, what is happening right now? It's like, how is it possible? Doing this or doing that, or it's just insane. So what people are currently imagining about how their life could look like or what they can do for themselves, it's like limited still by the human mind,
Yeah.
It's just allow yourself to dream and allow yourself to create. Because sometimes I think it was April. In April, I was in a very creative energy, and then I was just like writing my new book, and then also writing other scripts and stuff. And then it was just so powerful. It gave me so much joy. And then in the fulfillment, when I actually finished it, like, oh my God, actually it's complete now. And I'm ready to do the next one, my next book or my next endeavor. And then, like years ago, I had no idea about this, or I had no clue that I could actually do this or become this person. Or it's as you opening up those portals when we do the practices, and the meditations and the healings, you opening up portals and you breaking down blockages and you breaking down the limits, like the walls, the old pains, and then you just opening up, and then you burst into your greatness, because you also stepping into your past life experiences. Mm-hmm. So when you do these meditations, you actually enter that karma vortex, complex and you have access to your past life. So you're gaining all the confidence, the knowledge, the skills, everything is coming from there. And that's how you suddenly able to do certain things or having the vision to do those things. I hear it from so many people who comes to me that suddenly they have new ideas, suddenly they have new vision, and then now they don't feel stuck or they don't feel lost. They actually know which direction to take, because until that they just felt like they are not happy. They just felt that something is off, but they didn't know where to go from there. And that's these meditations and practices and healing opens up that portal and opens up that empowerment and confidence to start doing. I was also surprised seeing you, like it was so funny. Like I was just, doing my stuff, being on my day, and you popped up here, popped up there. I was like, wow, what happened to Misty? And then
You
I was
did.
even, I was even texting you. I was like, wow. And then, yeah, I was even surprised.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm telling you, things have just like clicked. And it's not even so much as things I never thought of. It's more of I'm just not even thinking about doing these things anymore. It's a natural thing. It just happens.
Yeah.
Because in the past, a couple years ago, I used to post 4 to 6 times a day, right? At least 4 to 5, maybe sometimes 6 videos every day. I mean, if you Googled my name came up. The first 6 things on there was me. And then I got backed off of that and I just kind of got into this depression and rut and everything, and I quit doing everything. And then after your program, it did take a little bit, but then I just started posting again. So now it's almost, I'm posting every single day, anywhere from 2 to 6 different things a day. And then I've got this podcast I'm working on and is coming, is launched here, and creating that. I've got the course that I want to create and I've thought about for years. It's been 4 years, almost 5 years that I've thought about this course, and it's blooming into something even bigger than I ever thought it could. And then I've got a workbook to go with that. I'm working on my 3rd ebook to try to finish that. And you know what I started doing this weekend? I had started a whole new book. So it's like everything is just coming out all at once. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited to what's coming and to be able to go through the program again, because like I said, that program is priceless. It's invaluable. I mean, there's so much value and so much to take from that. And it's not just, I mean, it's you are allowing somebody, you're giving people the tools on how to tap into themselves and their higher being and the source or the universe or whatever they want to call it, right? You're allowing them to tap into that and showing them how to do that, but you're giving them the tools and the strength and the confidence to do it themselves. And that's huge right there. I think that everybody should be on your program. Everybody should do it because, we all walk around with a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, a lot of things that, like I heard once, that we pick up the so-called baggage or the luggage that our parents carry. They just kind of hand it down generation to generation, right? We know that. So a lot of us are carrying that around when we don't need to. It's not ours to carry. And then how to learn how to let that go and forgive people for doing it or passing that to you or whatever we need to do with that. And your program does that. And in my mind, it's like, okay, it's a one and done. I did that. And then the more time goes on, I'm like, that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because we grow and we change and we're around people on an everyday basis. It's something we need to do every day, all the time. And to be able to release things and let that go, let pain go, forgive people, forgive ourselves, embrace things, welcome in, and be open to new blessings and things that are coming to us. So I think it should be something people do every single day. So Edit, I don't want you to give away too much because I really want people to check out your program. But are there some grounding tools or rituals that help you that you wouldn't mind sharing with other people to help you to come back to when your life doesn't feel so overwhelmed?
Yeah, I recommend a morning ritual when we actually invoke the light into our body. So it's not just energizing you or cleansing you, but it also gives you kind of like a protection, because many people is complaining about that if they go out of home, they go outside meeting with other people, going into crowded places, then they come home drained, or they feel like fatigue or negative emotions, even though they don't have the reason to have negative emotions, but they
Mm-mm.
picking it up from other people. So creating like a protecting energy shield for yourself is really useful in the morning. And you could do it like just being in peaceful state, sitting, closing your eyes and imagining that you're bringing in the light from the universe, like a column of light, and from the source. And you start filling up your whole body with that light, from your toes up on your legs, on your whole body, and then down to your fingers. So you're just imagining with closed eyes that you fill up your whole body with that light. And then it's even saturated and coming out of your crown chakra and flooding you from outside and creating like a capsule around you, like a protection shield. And then you can even say that this energy or this light is going to protect me, not just now during the meditation, but after the meditation all day long. So you're going to have that protection. That's one thing I would recommend. And the other thing is like after you coming home from somewhere or at the end of the day, to do the cord cutting. So cord cuttings is really useful even when people just thinking about you. Many people have expectations towards you or negative thinking about you, or just you to do certain things what you don't want to do. And then they having these negative thought patterns about you, criticism, judgment, and it's creating cord of attachments and it's draining your energy as well. So cutting cords is really important, and you can do it on a several ways. The easiest way is actually to invite Archangel Michael into your space. So you just close your eyes and you say, Archangel Michael, please come to me now. And then you can ask like, dear Archangel Michael, please reveal my cord of attachments and then cut my cords. And then that's how it is. And then you say, thank you. And then that's it. So that's one way. The other way is like you yourself actually creating a light sword and you cutting it with that. But that's like a deeper meditation. I teach it also in my elemental light healer course, how to do that.
Wow. So you would say by doing that, you're kind of, by somebody doing stuff like that, they can be a little bit more at peace and not carry so much weight and be
Yes,
able to, yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
It's you stay more joyful. If you started your day with a good mood, and then you're going out to the crowd, you can keep that good mood. You're not
yeah,
gonna get like all kinds of hits from outside energies. And then at the evening, if you still feel a bit drained from the course of attachments, you can cut those down, because if you, for example, know that there are people around you, for example, if you have parents and they want you to get married, but you not yet, or they want you to have a degree, but you don't have yet, So then they maybe call you all the time that what's happening in your life or what's happening with this or that. And then they having those expectations and they are not bad people, they can be good people too, but having expectation which not aligned with your own dreams or goals, that's already draining cords because of the thought patterns. Yeah, so that is to cut those is also liberating you, is giving you more space. But these are very quick fix energetic, interactions. But of course, there are meditations in my program, which is doing more deeper healings and deeper releases with the parents, with the expectation, with the ancestors and karma as well.
yeah, definitely. And I'm telling you guys, you have to check out her program. It's fantastic and it really goes deep and really opens up a lot, and you really get to connect with you and the spiritual side of yourself. And it just all comes together. I can't even find words because I'm so mind blown by it, but it's actually one you really want to look into. It's absolutely fantastic. So Edit, is there a lesson that you've had to learn more than once?
Yeah, the what we just talked about, that starting with the red flags, not the green flags,
Yeah.
flags, to actually making sure that you not repeating the pattern. That's and then to know that actually you are in control. You can actually control your karma as well. So we inherited ancestral karma and we have our own karma. So when it comes into your life, you have a choice. If you are mindful to decide a decision you make, and then you pick up that karma again and you continue with the cycle, or you stop the cycle. And it's about mindfulness,
Yeah.
and it's really powerful. So when I started to connect mindfulness with the healing and then it was really eye-opening how important to do both, being mindful and also the healing. Because I had also clients who was healing from panic attacks, but still had some doubts in the morning when they woke up and they said, what if it still comes back? And then they had to be mindful enough to know, oh, I'm not going to have these negative thought patterns because it's not coming back, So it's like being mindful about your thoughts, positive thoughts, having positive thoughts, which is creating positive emotions and then better decisions and better actions in your life. So mindfulness, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. So is there something you're still learning, even though after all the growth and all the guiding, that you're still learning something?
It's interesting. So I always open to learn new things. I always have masters and I always have, people to learn from. For example, last year was when I also became a manifestation coach under Scott Hag, who's one of the best manifestation coach was under Bob Proctor. So I was skeptical before I entered his course because I was like, oh, I went through so many learnings already. I manifest so many things in my life and maybe I need this anymore, right? But then he kind of talked me into, and it took me even 2 months to get started. And then when I started with the program, I was like, wow, this interesting. And then there was some very powerful techniques I learned from him, which was like really elevated my own energetic healings, like even my connection to the divine and the more powerful healing started to happen. And I was like, wow, if it can affect this so much, then it's really great. So I went into more deeper, and then I have some specific tools which I really love, and then I still practice from there. But I also use the programs now to teaching my clients for it as well in my group coaching. So I combine manifestation with healing, and because I believe that you can create your magical life through shadow work. So you need manifestation, but you also need the healing. And now I can combine it on a more conscious way. And then I also learned some new healing techniques. But what I discovered, or what I realized when I was getting into those healing techniques, or I was learning about or reading about it, that some of them can be, yes, very powerful, but they could be also very harsh on your body.
Mm-hmm.
They are energetic healings. They are doing deep trauma healing, but you feel bad or exhausted going through that. And it's really scary, and it's really, how can I say, it's not comfortable to go through those healings. It can cause you pain first, real physical pain, before it gets better. And then I was concluding that there are those things which I don't really want to learn more deeply or want to get into more deeply, because I also believe that what I do right now is very gentle and deep healing and give space for the people to, and then it's also giving them the results. So
Yeah.
why would we go through something faster and more drastic when we can do it a bit spaced out and having the similar results? So so there was things which I learned, but I decided not to use it because it was more drastic than which I already learned before.
Yeah.
But I'm always open to some new experiences. And then I love to get into new experiences because obviously not everybody is willing to do, certain things. Like they are shy away from it, or they say, oh, it's not for me, or I don't want to do it, or blah, blah. Then there could be something else, there is something else maybe which they can do. So I love adding more and more things into my repertoire or into my toolbox, because of my group coaching as well, because I love to show those to my clients some new things, without them needing to sign up with other coaches. I'm bringing them the new experiences so they feel always satisfied about doing the practices.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really awesome. So there are, like you said, there are other ways that go faster, but you recommend more the slow, gentle. When people do the gentler, like meditation and growth and stuff like that, introspection, do they learn more from that than they would from the going faster?
So the going faster thing is most of the time need someone else, a specific facilitator or healer who needs to be there and do the work for them, like a shamanic or like another kind of healer, a facilitator who's actually know those specific tools to use. So it's this thing which I do is you can do it also from recordings from from the meditation library. And then when we do together, it's also the things what you can learn on the way much easier. I also teach it in the facilitator training. So you can do it on yourself after you learn it. So what I'm saying is it's still faster than it's still faster than going to a speaking therapy, because we're talking about depression, PTSD. We're talking about anxiety, panic attacks, or we're talking about even physical illnesses, whatever is triggering you, right? So most of the people, what they do, they go to the doctors, they go to speaking therapy, they get their anxiety pills, and that's it. So, and they actually going to speaking therapy for 7 years. They taking their anxiety pills for decades, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm saying is that is slow, the slow is still a month, right? We work together for 30 days. So the 30 days incubator is the slow. and then there is the other methods, which are maybe very powerful spiritual techniques, which is maybe a couple of days, but they are really intense and can be really strong on some bodies or some people, and maybe scary to some people.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say I really enjoyed the incubator. I think that it was fantastic, and it was just the right pace for me, because when we were doing it, I was going through a lot of stuff, and mentally, physically, emotionally, and I think that the incubator really helped me stay grounded, even though once I was did a little too much, but felt unattached. But it really helped me feel grounded and helped me work through what I was going through, and even gave me the strength to keep going. So I really loved the incubator. I think it was fantastic. So if someone's listening who feels lost, stuck, or just starting their journey, what would you say?
So everybody has the power to change their life. You need to recognize that, have the awareness that you need to change. You need to change. Is yourself, right?
Mhm.
So the starting point is you. So it doesn't matter what is outside of you. Even if you start this healing journey, as you change yourself as a ripple effect, your environment is going to change around you. Because you energetically, as you raise your vibration, your current environment will not match you anymore. So you either gonna drop off whatever interactions you have, drop off your circumstances, your environment, because you are growing out of it. You're raising your vibration, your frequency as you heal, as you take care of yourself, and suddenly your current environment won't be able to hold that frequency. So it's gonna change as you change. But it's everything starts within. And we have the power to make the decisions. I know it's when you are in your deepest point, when you are in the rabbit hole, it's really hard to see how, is need to reach out for help. You can reach out for help to your angels. You can reach out to help to your spirit guides. Before I learned about karma yoga healing, that's what I was doing. I was reaching out to source, or I was reaching out to the angels or spirit guides, and they came to help me or pick me up and stuff like that, energetically. But after karma yoga healing, I was more able to connect with even ascended masters. I was able to connect also with my past energies, past life energies, and then bring that energy into me and with the other elements and other beings, basically, to help me with this. But what I'm saying is that you need to realize that no matter how deep you are in, you need to reach out for help, and then also to start with the samadhi meditation, because it's going to start allowing you to produce more of those hormones which bring you back more into the better mood, allowing you to be more focused, having a better sleep. And then your growth hormone is also allow you to be more vital. So just that hormonal production, what you create through this meditation, is picking you up more and allowing you to more counting your blessings and being in gratitude. And that's already a higher vibration than being in feeling, sad, angry, betrayed, and all of those emotions. So it's and then people can find that meditation on my YouTube channel, Magical Karma Priestess, for free. So you just go to my playlist and you can start listening to a couple of my meditations there that already start picking you up and then allowing you to move forward a bit.
Yeah. And we'll link that in the description below, your YouTube channel, and we'll really push people out there because I feel like what you're doing to help people out is not only changed my life, but it's life changing for other people. And I think people really need to be able to take a step back and realize that in order to be truly happy, you have to be happy with yourself. And the best way to do that is to go inside, dig deep, heal what needs to be healed, be aware of what's going on and what you do like and what you don't like, and be aware that you're the one, like you said, you're the one in control. You know,
Yeah.
I always say you can sit here and wait till somebody knocks on your door and gives you your dream life, or you can get up and do it and start taking that action. To be realistic, nobody's going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life. They're not going to come up and, "Oh, you've been waiting for so long. Here you go." That's not how things work. So I really, truly thank you, Edit. I thank you so much, not only for your program and for being my friend and helping me out when I truly needed somebody. I thank you for being here with me on the podcast and giving me your time. I thank you for sharing your heart, for showing up with such realness and grace. This is why I started the podcast, because I wanted to be able to give other people the knowledge and that they're not alone. They can do it. Here's how. And let's do this. Let's take this journey together. Let's ride this path of life. Have fun doing it in the good and the bad. Because life doesn't come with a map. But sometimes the people we meet help us find our way, like Edit, who obviously has helped me in so many ways. To those of you listening, I hope something Edit said lit a little spark in you, even if it was just a great reminder that you are not alone you're not alone in the becoming. That just by showing up, you're doing the work. Until next time, take the scenic route, toss the map, and remember, the journey is the destination. See you guys next week. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Life's a Trip. If you're figuring it out as you go, same here. Hit follow, leave a review if you're feeling generous. And remember, you don't need the whole map. You just need the next step.